In this module, we'll talk about how cloud computing and genetic variant detection work together. Cloud computing is a powerful way to perform cutting-edge data science work, without having to worry about having the right equipment. After learning the basics, anyone with an internet connection can use cloud computing to look for genomic variants. Except where otherwise indicated, this content is available for use under CC BY 4.0. This module has 4 objectives. First, we will learn a little more about different types of computers. Next, we will learn the information necessary to answer the question, what is cloud computing? After that, we will learn about how cloud computing can be applied when working with genomics data. Finally, we will revisit the big picture so we can understand how variants, alignments, and cloud computing all fit together. Let's first talk about computers to help us understand cloud computing a little better. Most computers contain 3 core components: the CPU, memory, and storage. The CPU, or Central Processing Unit, is the brain of the computer that performs and orchestrates computational tasks. Modern computers often perform multiple tasks at once, ranging from 4 tasks on a typical laptop to 48 tasks or more on higher-end servers. RAM, or Random Access Memory, is often simply referred to as memory. This short-term memory holds the information that the CPU needs to perform calculations. Because CPUs are fast, memory needs to be fast, making it relatively expensive. One distinctive feature of memory is that it is short-term. In other words, when the electricity is shut off, the data stored in memory disappears. This leads us to the final component, storage. Storage is sometimes referred to as long-term memory because electricity is not required to preserve the data. Typically ranging from gigabytes to terabytes or more, this type of storage offers big data capacity for a relatively low price at the cost of speed. Data files kept in storage first need to be read into short-term memory to perform many types of analyses. Hard drives and flash drives are also part of storage. When most people think about computers, they think about a laptop or desktop computer. Personal computers can run many types of software, including text and spreadsheet processors, music apps, and games. This works just fine for some apps, but you might have noticed that when trying to run a lot of programs on a laptop, it starts to work slower. This is because it has run out of memory. There's also a limit to how many files can be stored on a personal computer. It's hard to work on documents or analyses collaboratively on a laptop. There also aren't a lot of rules when it comes to security decisions. Some of these challenges can be solved by shared computers called servers or computing clusters. These are more powerful computers that you access through an internet connection. Some universities have their own high-performance computing, or HPC, servers that are shared among researchers. There are also government-sponsored resources that you can apply to use for research like Exceed. Although these computers are more powerful, they still run into problems when it comes to memory and file storage space. Some users don't take up all the resources allocated to them, while others run out. Cloud computing is also accessed through an internet connection, but works differently. Most cloud computing today is provided by large companies like Amazon, Microsoft, and Google. All you need is a funding source, and you can immediately use one of the largest computers in the world. So what is cloud computing? You might have already heard of the cloud, or cloud computing, but not know much about it. It might seem like something that's mainly for advanced computer programmers. But in fact, you probably encounter cloud computing every day. Cloud computing powers services like Gmail or the cloud backup of the photos on your smartphone. Netflix relies on cloud computing services for its video streaming service and other systems. Many other organizations are exclusively cloud-based. The cloud is built from very large clusters of very powerful computers. These computers still have a physical location. For example, Google Cloud has computing centers throughout the world. This video can give you a sense of how big these data centers are and what kind of maintenance and security they require. Because cloud computers are located somewhere else, you run them in a virtualized environment. Providers like Google or Amazon Web Services subdivide the huge computers to smaller computers with a range of sizes. You are totally protected from other users and you get to pick the operating system and installed software. One way to think about cloud computing is that it is like renting a car. You have lots of choices for size of the car. It really depends on how many people you need to move or how much stuff you're going to pack. You also have performance options, but it will be more expensive. Some companies also add on extra security protections, like dash cams or additional accident insurance. When your needs change, you can easily swap for a different car. You also return the car when you're done, and you don't pay for any maintenance on the car. That way, you pay much less than buying the car yourself. Cloud computing works in a similar way. You only pay for the space and power you need as you need it. Like cars, buying personal computers come in a variety of configurations, but are expensive up front. They can cost several $1,000s, and you want to be very sure that your needs won't change. On the other hand, cloud computing is funded by hour for compute time, and by month for storage space. These are just a few examples of configurations you can use, but there are many more options, including premium high memory instances for advanced computing needs. Let's review. With standard computing, you buy an individual computer, for a large upfront cost. You can then use that computer as much as you want for very little continued cost, although you do have to do all the work of maintaining and upgrading it. In some cases a laptop is not powerful enough to do all the analyses you want to do. With cloud computing, there is no upfront cost. You rent the computers as you need them, and you pay based on the capacity of the computers and the amount of time you use them. There are ways of pre-configuring these rented computers so that the software and security you need comes already installed. How can cloud computing help us with genomic data analysis? Using cloud computing as part of genomic data analysis has three main opportunities. As we already reviewed, it's very straightforward to provision cloud resources at scale. This means that you can pay reasonable costs to complete your analysis in less time by renting hundreds to tens of thousands of cloud-based computers, and you can stop paying for it when your analysis is complete. Next, it's much easier to share and collaborate on research projects. This image shows the history feature of a cloud tool called Galaxy. Users can share not only datasets but also every computational manipulation that was performed. By sharing a history like this one, other people can reproduce your analysis in its entirety, allowing other people to validate and extend upon your work. Finally, cloud computing makes it easier to share analyses between platforms. Shown here is a diagram of the steps in a single-cell analysis published by the Klarman Cell Observatory on DocStore. This particular workflow diagram is a higher-level abstraction coupled with technology that packages small containers of software. This multi-step analysis can then be run with relative ease on cloud-supporting platforms like Terra and DNAnexus. The Analysis, Visualization, and Informatics Lab Space, otherwise known as the Anvil, is a computing tool made specifically for doing analysis in the cloud. We will be using it to do some analyses later. Anvil serves as a jumping-off point to many useful genomics tools. One of these tools is Galaxy, an environment for performing many commonly used analyses. Using Anvil and Galaxy together has two major advantages. The first is that because this is cloud computing, you don't need a fancy computer to use advanced genomics data science tools. We have access to as much computing power as we want. Many genomics tools are already installed, shown in the box on the left-hand side. The second is that Galaxy doesn't require any coding to run analyses. You use drop-down menus to tell Galaxy how to run the software. We will talk more about using Anvil in the lab section. Finally, let's review everything we've learned about variants, sequencing, alignments, and cloud computing. Variation in life often comes from genetic variants. These are small changes in DNA. Sometimes these changes don't do much. Other times they can lead to changes in the way an organism or virus behaves. For example, the Delta variant of SARS-CoV-2, which surged in fall of 2021, is more infectious and causes more severe disease. In the past decade, there has been an explosion of data collection in genomics. This has been enabled by rapidly advancing sequencing technology. Sequencing technology has also made wide-scale detection of genetic variants a possibility. Genomics software can perform alignments that help us place sequencing data in context. Alignment algorithms compare data to a reference to determine which base pairs differ. That way, we can detect the differences we are most interested in studying. Finally, cloud computing makes it possible to do analysis without having to be an expert in computing or coding. All you have to have is curiosity and a good scientific question. Remember that variant detection can have many applications. These range from understanding virus outbreaks and detecting genetic diseases like sickle cell anemia, to crop and livestock breeding and wildlife conservation. In this module, we learned more about different types of computers. We also answered the question, what is cloud computing? We learned about how cloud computing can be applied when working with genomics data. Finally, we looked at how variants, alignments, and cloud computing all fit together. Thank you to everyone who contributed.